welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. Sorry, I was just swallowing a Milky Bar button and it got stuck in my throat.
The most professional show on the planet.
Welcome back. The only place to be for the pre-match pump-ups and for if you want to see people choking. I'm joined today by a elite panel because we have a big Champions League game tonight away against a Bodo Glimt. Jimbo's here, the coffee's here, the scarf is here. Jimbo, how are you doing?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Very good. Looking forward to the game.
Good.
Nice easy win tonight for us.
Let's hope so. The cough, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Long day at work, but now we get to watch some football, so it's going to be a good evening. Very, very optimistic about tonight's game, and we're going to talk about it over the next hour. It's going to be wonderful.
Exactly. And Mr. Harry Scarf, how are you? Your camera isn't blurry tonight. All is well.
No, it's not. No, I just need a good clean. I recorded a few videos that day, so obviously picked up some dirt, I gathered, as me trying to join back and forward, and it didn't make any difference. That was why. But no, thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it. If I'm honest with you, a little bit nervous. I think we'll get the job done and we'll be okay, but a few nerves creeping in. I think knowing in your head you haven't got your club captain, that plays a big part, knowing that you've only got one striker available. But I think we should be okay, so looking forward to previewing it.
Yeah, let's hope so. We'll start with you, Harry. Before we go on to the game tonight, obviously a bit of a disappointing result at the weekend. We did the pump up. We thought there'd be loads of goals, and then we scraped a 1-1 draw. What did you make of the game?
Disappointing, I think, overall. First half, well, it's a game of two halves, first is what I would say. But first half, I thought we were okay. We were in control. Some would even say dominant. You know, we had control of that game without scoring. And I look at that and think a little bit more creativity, better in the final third. We're probably ahead at the break, but it doesn't happen. And I think Wolves get it right. They change their formation at halftime, make a couple of substitutions. They're energized, probably a really good team talk from their manager, Victor Pereira. They come out flying and they get that goal. That sometimes happens in football, but that now means that Wolves have something to sit on, which makes Tottenham's task a lot tougher, not only being a goal behind, but the fact you've got to now break down behind 11 men. It was already tough. They were defensive anyway, so it was only going to make it worse. And I think that just kind of knocked us confidence because we lost our way. And the longer the game went on, the more impatient A, the fans become, but B, the players too. And that's okay if the quality's still there, but it wasn't. We were seeing, Vicario make silly mistakes, and that was encouraging fan pressure on him. Then that fan pressure is making him, go long or making him mess up what he's doing. So in the end, it's just a trickle effect, and it was awful at times. But I want to give real credit to Wolves because it's easy to look at Tottenham and go, look, we were awful. And we've got things we need to improve on. But overall, I think it's more credit to Wolves rather than the fault of Tottenham, if that makes sense. They come out a lot better in the second half. And yes, okay, they haven't got a point before this game in the Premier League, but that makes it tougher for us because they're going to cherish every point, fight for that point every hard. And they literally did. They gave everything. This is by far their best performance of the season. And it's a case of we got something, Kate, rather than nothing. Should be disappointed with the performance, but to draw a game rather than lose it is always better. Sometimes you won't deserve it in football. Sometimes you won't be at the races. You have a bad day at the office. If you can get something to take on and go, look, come on, guys, look, we need to improve, but we still got the result. That's a real positive. Look at Liverpool. Let's forget the Palace result last time out. They're getting the result even with the performance not being there. And I'd argue that's quite a good thing. Yes, it will catch up with you eventually. But if you're getting the result when things are tough, imagine how things are going to be when you're doing well. It's only going to be better. That's the way I look at it. So not a good performance across the whole 90 minutes because that second half we did fall off a cliff a bit. But I don't think it's disastrous as some people are making out a okay point in the end.
Yeah, I agree. And every point counts.
Can I just say to Harry, how old are you, Harry?
16.
He's got too sensible a head on his shoulders for a 16-year-old.
It's definitely more sensible than yours, Jimbo, and you're 63. Mr. Kaufman, obviously I don't think you was at the game because you was away.
I was at the game.
What did you make of it? Because a lot of the time, people that go to the game see things differently to people that watch it on the telly.
It was an old school Tottenham performance, wasn't it? A game we were supposed to win, a bit of a sucker punch. I think they did lose their heads a bit. They were trying to do things too quickly, which sometimes you just got to slow things down and try and do it a little bit at a time. It was a shocking performance in that second half. On another day, we could have been 3-0 up in the first half. But what credit to the boys. Last season, if we had had that, they would have lost the game. We'd have lost the game. This year, we played till the 95th minute or whatever it is, whatever the stoppage time was. I think it was 5 minutes or what. I can't even remember how many minutes. We played to the last minute. We got a goal. We save our blushes, but we can't do that in the future. We have to have more sustainable type of football. And it's okay to say that a manager got it wrong. And the manager did get it wrong. As you all know from watching TOT, the world famous home of these two fingers, we are the Thomas Frank therapy session. We absolutely love the bloke, but it's okay to say that a manager got it wrong, and he will get it wrong. And Thomas Frank said that in his first press conference. I will lose games of football. I will get things wrong. It's all about building a cohesive unit again, and Rome wasn't built in a day. Mate, on another day, Destiny releases the ball a bit quicker, which goes into the box that's in the back of the net. So this is all learning experiences. Players are not fully up to speed, which they shouldn't be until when we really need them, which is the middle of December when we're playing 3 games a week. So credit to the boys for scraping the point, and that's me scraping the bottom of the barrel. And we've shown in the last 2 games we're able to fight back and get a point when we don't deserve anything. So that is a very positive sign. So hopefully against Bodo tonight, hopefully we won't have some of those problems, and hopefully we've learned from them.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I completely agree. I think some of the people's reaction has been a little bit over the top. But Jimbo, we spoke on, what day is it today? Tuesday, yesterday, at length about Vicario, about the fact that he should have done better. Do you see Vicario staying and keeping his place tonight, or do you think Frank gambles and puts Kinski in?
Well, I don't think it's a gamble, Kate, putting Kinski in, because I don't think there's a lot between the two of them, if you want to know the truth. And I would probably say that Kingsley might even be a safer, better pair of hands at the minute. I'm not saying Vicario's bad, not at all, but I think there's still stuff he needs to work on. And I know they're working with him in training, but I watch him in training and they do these low shots to him and he catches them all the time. So why in the game? And the first thing they teach you as a goalkeeper is not to push it out, to push it to the side. And he seems to push it to the front a lot. You know, I mean, I showed you with Pope, didn't I? When someone shot at Pope, he pushed it right out to the side. There's no chance of them getting a rebound. But look, he's our goalkeeper, so we've got to get behind him. But he needs to do some work on that, and he needs to do some work on his catching as well. But he's not bad. He's not a bad keeper. I just think he needs some more work. Someone said to me he's a bit old to learn now, but he's not. What is he, 27?
27's young for a keeper.
Yeah.
27 is young for a keeper.
27. So
you can always improve these aspects of it. You can always learn to catch better. He's got a hard part of the game, which is his shot stopping. His shot stopping is excellent. He's very, very good at that. The things that he can be taught are systematically having the players defend the corner better, so it's easier for him to catch. You can get one of those machines they use to fire balls. Get one of those, fire balls in the air, and just catch. A lot more catching is more of a it's more of a routine thing. It's more of a routine, and we've had 2 years of being awful at defending corners. So to have one mistake out of many of we've only lost 1 game in the league this year, which I don't know what it was at this time last year. I can't really remember. I don't really want to remember last season, to be honest. Apart from that run to Bilbao, which is a very, very happy memory, I don't really want to remember. But we were shocking at defenders and corners last year. So hopefully, with the new set piece coach, he's going to be saying, "Okay, you've made a mistake there. This is how we're going to correct it." And we're going to have to be coached systematically to be defending corners better. And it's all part of the learning curve. Rome wasn't built in the day. And when you've got a new style of approach, hopefully, and if he doesn't improve, we've got to improve him next summer. Or Kinski is bearing down on him. So it's good to have 2 very good goalkeepers.
I was going to say
it might even be, Jimbo, that people don't like talking about this, but who was Frank's goalkeeper at Brentford? David Raya. So maybe Kinski can be that sort of that sort of not that replacement, but a similar mould to that David Raya mould.
Yeah, I think that it wouldn't hurt to give Kingsky a game. Okay, it might make Vicario think a bit as well. So that's what it's about. It's about having more than one player in a position. So if one has dropped off a bit, you can put the other one in, and it normally gives the other one a kick up the backside.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, I don't know what you thought about Vicario, whether you think he might get a rest tonight and Kinski start.
I think it's a possibility. I'm not sure if the teams are now or if it's at 7 o'clock. If it's the Premier League, it would be now. So what I do know is that we have 2 good goalkeepers. I totally agree. I think it's a conversation to be had. I think for me, it really upsets me, though, the wording that's been used by, again, people, need to be careful, especially those who have bigger followings. Some of the wording around Vicario, I've seen people kind of, in my opinion, initiate hate on Vicario by suggesting he's not fit to wear the shirt. There's a big difference, in my opinion, from saying he's not fit to wear the shirt or is he fit to wear the shirt to should he be Tottenham's number 2 or should we give Kinski a chance? There's a massive difference for me. And I think Vicario's been disrespected. He's a goalkeeper that's an amazing shot stopper. He's kept us in so many games, very key in winning that Europa League, which has already been referenced. So Kinski's a good goalkeeper. I'd actually argue probably more naturally suited to Thomas Frank and the way he wants to play. I thought that before he joined the club. I didn't actually think that Vicario would be the number 1. So that's impressed me up until now. But we're talking about Vicario, who's had to change his game completely. Which sounds strange. Most people be thinking, hang on, how can you change your game to goalkeeper? But simple thing, like he takes all the free kicks now and a lot of his work isn't always on the ball. It's about going long and he's improved, put it that way, even with his catching. So if you'd asked me a year ago, I'd probably gone, yeah, probably Kinski. But I look at Vicario now and go, I think you're the number 1. There's no rush with Kinski. But at the same time, I have absolutely no problem with rotating in the Champions League. I don't see a problem with that. I'd rather us do it in this game, no disrespect to Bodo Glimt, because this will be tough tonight. I'd rather do it tonight than against PSG away, let's say. I think this is a better opportunity to trial things, and Kinski deserves his shot. I'd make that case for a lot of players. How do we know, A, if they're good enough, or B, if they're ready, if we don't give them an opportunity? I could make the case for Dane Scarlett tonight. Only one striker fit in Richarlison. When else is he going to get that opportunity? So, no, Kinski, I would be opposed to him getting a chance. If I had to predict, I think he probably will start, though. I think he will.
How old is Kinski?
Don't know, actually.
Let's have a look.
Very good question.
He is 2003 he was born, so 22.
So yeah, so there's it's all right for him to be a number 2. He knows in a few years if he stays with us, he'll be the number 1. So yeah, it's different if you've got 2 about the same age.
Someone's saying the lineup's out, but it's not out on the Tottenham Twitter page yet. So I can't bring it up because it's not out yet.
Well, the Premier League's usually an hour and 15, isn't it? But I think the Champions League goes back to an hour, which would be 7 o'clock. So I don't think it is out.
Yeah, it's definitely not out yet. I'm refreshing like mad, but there's nothing there. Obviously, we've heard Romero didn't travel. We've been told it's precautionary. Ben, are you worried? Because I kind of feel like that the whole Solanke thing made me nervous. I kept saying I think there's more to it, and now all of a sudden he's had surgery. Now we're resting Romero or keeping him out for precautionary reasons. What do you think's going on?
I think Danso's a very good defender. I think I'm not upset to see Kevin Danso in the team. I think he's a very, very solid defender. Him beside Mickey van der Ven with Paulinho in front of them. I'm happy with those. And one of the things we get with Kevin Danso in the team, we get his long throws. I'm not the biggest fan of Bergvall on those long throws. He has done a good stint at them, but Dan's throw is a thing. In these games where you're playing on an artificial surface, long throws are going to be very, very helpful. Just to put a bit more pressure on the opposing team. So I really like Danso, and I think it's I'm not worried. In some aspects, he's a better defender than Romero. In some aspects, he's stronger in the air, and I think on this surface, when we're trying to keep it a bit solid, I think Danso is a very good option to have.
Yeah, well, the lineup is out. And Vicario has started, so that's that out the window. We've got Vicario, Danso, Richarlison, Bergvall, Johnson, Pedro Porro, Spence, Odebert, Sarr, Bentancur and Van der Ven as captain. And on the bench, we've got Kinski, Austin, Palinia, Simons, Udogi, Gray, Kudus, Davis, Scarlett, Uluesi and Hardy. Harry, no Palinia, which I'm not particularly surprised about. I thought Simons might start. I mean, what do you make of the lineup? Is it just rotation? You're muted, Harry.
Sorry, I was going to say, I'll start by saying rookie error there, but a lot of people will mention it. They have already, and they continue to do so. The order they put it in is so frustrating going from number order. In my head, trying to think, okay, so what does that mean? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh, proper annoying. But yeah, surprises in there. There's no doubt about it. I think it'd be crazy to say that you aren't surprised. I think we all expected some kind of rotation, but I didn't expect, for example, to see both Johnson and Odebert in the lineup together. I would have gone, probably one or the other, and you keep the other winger consistent. So it's a big surprise. But I said it just a couple of minutes ago, and I'll say it again. Someone like a Dane Scarlett, when are they going to get an opportunity, or are they going to be released? Because there's no better, in my opinion, opportunity. You're playing someone like a Bodo Glimt. You've got two of your strikers out injured. Give him a start. That's what I say. But I'm happy with this lineup. You mentioned Paulinho, I believe, Kate, and I agree with you. No surprise. It's always going to be, I think, him or Bentancur. He's gone with Bentancur. Thank goodness it isn't both. I think he's learned his lesson, hopefully, on that. But we should be okay tonight. But Bodo Glimt are a side that are unbeaten in 5 games across all competitions, exactly the same as us. Bodo Glimt always concede a goal a game, though, at least. So that is good reading for Tottenham for attackers. I think someone like a Brennan Johnson or Wilson Odebert could really thrive in a game like this. A little bit of space, we can hug the touchline. So I'm looking forward to it, Kate. It's a good lineup, but I think it will take some by surprise.
Yeah, Jimbo, what do you make of it? Obviously, we've got Leeds away on Saturday morning. What are you making of this team?
For me, it's fine, Kate. I've got faith in Frank that he knows what he's doing. It's good that we can rest some players. Look, I don't want to disrespect Bodo Glimt, but it's not going to be the hardest game in the world, is it? So it is a game we can rest players. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's a game we can rest players, and if things are not going our way, we can change it. So I think it's a sensible move to give some of the bigger players a rest, ready for the Leeds game. So, because the Leeds game is going to be a hard game, they're going to fancy their chances at their place.
Yeah.
So I think it's a decent team. I like to see a change up. I don't like to see the same players playing every game, because I think that's when we're in with a chance of losing them for a couple of months when they get injured. So for me, it's important that we do some changes, and this is the game for me that he can make changes, and we can still nick the win.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm with Harry, Ben, in the fact that I'm glad he's not playing Bentancur and Paulinho. Yeah, it's not a bit of me, but I mean, what do you make of the lineup?
It's fine apart from that front three. That front three it's well too weak in my opinion. I'm not going to disrespect Odebert. He's a decent little player. He should possibly be a backup. He's not good enough to play for Tottenham Hotspur. He's not good enough. He might get there in a few years. And there is a spark of a player there. There is something he's got. I don't know. I can't totally put my finger on it. I would be playing Kudus in this game. We need to be winning this game. I would rather go strong and then make changes. That's the reason you have 5 substitutions. I want to win this game early and see it out. We need no stressful opportunities. If Brennan Johnson gets a goal or 2, brilliant. I'll be delighted for him. Sometimes on an artificial surface, when you are playing a team like Bodo who are going to work their socks off, we need every single player to be working their socks off. So to play Richarlison and Brennan, sometimes those two can go missing in games. Every man needs to be ready to work their efforts for the team. And sometimes playing Brennan Johnson is like playing with 10 men. As much as I love the geezer, sometimes it's like playing with 10 men. And Richarlison is the same. He's got the touch of a trampoline. Absolutely. So I could get it wrong, but that's the beauty of football fandom, isn't it? We can all be wrong, and that's the beauty. Maybe it's right, but I'm happy to see Porro maybe fire in some crosses. It's not the team I would have played, but we'll see. That's why I'm not paid the wages that Thomas Frank is paid. That's why I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. I have my opinions.
Yeah. I'll tell you what is terrible. There's 521 watching, only 59 likes, which is a disgrace. Please smash the like button. Don't make me go on strike or choke on Milky Bar buttons again. I was going to say something and now I forgot. Did I write it down? No, I didn't. Oh, this. Someone's put Bentancur needs to be dropped. He can't do anything except back passes. Harry, it's emerged today that he's close to signing a new contract at Tottenham. What's your thoughts on Bentancur? Because at the minute, he seems to be divided opinion.
I don't know why. And I don't get it with a lot of our players. I think we're very quick to react, but I'd take one look at the Premier League table. I'd take one look at our results. I'd take one look at Thomas Frank and the job he's done, and one look at the players and how they've adapted to the new system and think, nothing's really wrong here. Stop trying to find faults in individuals or what's going on at Tottenham. Of course, you can sit here and go, Bentancur, do we sell him? But again, it's the people, the way they go about it. He needs to be dropped. You know, we're saying it here like he starts every game. He doesn't start every game. And Bentancur, for me, there's no doubt about it. He isn't the player that we signed before, since he's got injured. I remember under Antonio Conte, he was very key and was used as kind of at times, not always playing like in a 10, but he was like his pressing was like in that kind of position, and he was really key going forward. Bentancur was your player to win the ball back from a press. He led the press, led by example, and was everywhere in midfield. Not quite the same player. For me, what's really interesting about Bentancur is his type of passing's changed. In my opinion, that's on Ange Postecoglou. Forever grateful to Ange. I didn't want him to go, to be honest with you. I'll say that now. But I look back and I think he didn't... I don't say he's ruined Bentancur's career, but he's made it a lot tougher for him and changed his game to a way that doesn't suit us now, doesn't help us at all. And what I mean by that is he was a completely different player under Conte in terms of he was used on the counter-attack, used for press resistance, and was very good at that. However, under Ange, he was a possession-based midfielder, so his type of passing changed. Under Conte, it was ambitious passes, if you remember. That 9 times out of 10 worked, but sometimes it didn't. It was that splitting-edge pass that is like really risky, as I call it, with Bentancur. Whereas he went to Ange, really safe passes, sideways, backwards. That's what he plays now. Safe pair of hands. If you have Bentancur on the ball, he's the last one back. He's not going to lose you the ball, no doubt about it. He's going to keep hold of the ball. He's going to protect the defence. I'd feel comfortable with sending the rest of the team forward, and you leave Van der Ven and Bentancur back. Absolutely fine. But I think overall the new contract will be right. Seems like a leader. Frank seems to like him. And again, I think people are trying to find problems with individuals where there isn't a problem. If Frank likes him and wants him to sign a new deal, so be it. I think we'll have to crack on with it. And as far as I'm concerned, although Bentancur's not the player he was, he hasn't done anything wrong. So I think that individual is trying to pick a battle that doesn't need fighting.
I mean, Ben, you like I say, stadium fans who go regularly often see the games different. Do you think Bentancur? I mean, me and Jim say a lot of the time he goes unnoticed because he just goes about doing what he needs to do. Nothing spectacular, but he's a bit of a steady Eddie. But what do you think of Bentancur?
I like him as a player. He's not the greatest by any means, but he's very comfortable in possession. He's closer to an Italian number 6 than he is a number 6 in the European game. He sort of likes to play passes behind the midfield rather than sort of being that link-up play. He does like to maraud on the ball into midfield. As Harry said, under Conte, he scored a few goals. He'd like to get onto the ball, move into that final. He got a few goals, one against Man United, and he's got a few headers here and there. I like Bentancur. Most importantly, he's got someone next to him who's going to run 3/4 of the earth, which is Pape Sarr. And I've always been a big fan of Pape Sarr. And I think them two will do quite well with each other. I think Bentancur can be more of the cultured one, and Pape Sarr can be your athleticism and the player that you want to stick his foot in, because that man covers every blade of grass. He's not covering blades of grass tonight because it's artificial, But Sarr is the key to that midfield, making sure that we're aggressive, and when we do get the ball, we can pass forward.
Yeah, I agree. Jimbo, Spurs have met Bodo Glimt twice, both in May this year, winning 3-1 at home and winning by 2-0 away. This is a scary stat, and I'm not going to say the words doctor anything, but they've lost 100% of their games against English sides in major European competition. Their worst losing record against sides from a single nation. Is there any way at all that this can be one of those games where we go, the doctor will see you now?
Just stupid saying, honestly. Dr. Tottenham, where's all that shit come from?
It's football, isn't it, Kate? It's football. Anyone can lose any given day. Remember when prime Barcelona lost 1-0 to Celtic?
Yes.
It happens. It happens in football. The best teams in the world do throw clangers. It's up to the coaching staff and it's up to the players to have their heads screwed on properly and treat the game respectfully. But no, we should be winning this game. We need a professional performance tonight. I'm not one of these people. I had a go at them on my stream earlier. That don't underestimate Bodo. Like Bodo's like the boogeyman or something. Like they're talking like Bodo. Angus, if you're watching this, buddy, you're one of these people. I'm calling you out, my friend. I'm calling you out live on air. One of these, they're treating Bodo like they're prime Barcelona with Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, and all the above. It's Bodo. They're a good team. And they've earned their right to be in the Champions League. Let's not be afraid of... Oh, no, it's Bodo! It's Bodo! Let's professional performance, and let's see if we can win the game. It's the way people are treating it. Let's be sensible. Let's be sensible. If Bodo beat us, they are a Champions League team. Teams do get beat in the Champions League, but I expect us to treat it like we treated the game in the Europa League. Earlier in the season. Just be professional, keep calm, and show what you can do.
Yeah. Are you of the same opinion, Jimbo? Do you think it's going to be, we can't disrespect them, but at the same time, they're a team we should be beating?
You don't disrespect any team, right? You have your opinion on what you're going to win. Like, I think I've got my score in my head what I think we'll beat them. It doesn't make them a bad team, and it don't mean I'm disrespecting them. But I'm just backing my team to win. Look, we should beat them. We're Tottenham. We're a massive club compared to them. And if we lose to them, and that means we've had an off night. But I mean, I've seen so many times teams go out where people have gone, "Oh, this is a terrible team. We've got no chance with this team. What's Frank thinking?" Or last year it was, "What's Ange thinking?" Putting his team out, and then they go and have a great performance. Right? He's put them on the pitch to win this game. So he must have faith in them, right? He does the training with them. He knows what they can do. I'm sure he hasn't put players in there that he thinks are going to let us down. He's put players in there that thinks that they'll do the job and get us over the line. Well, we're lucky this year. We can afford to do this, and because we've got a really good bench. We've got an excellent bench. So I think we'll win, Kate, comfortably. I really do. But look, we'll see. But you're right. Ben's right that on any given day, any team can beat any team. Look, I'm watching Real Madrid against a team I've never even heard of. I can't even pronounce their name, right? They're 2-0 up, Real Madrid, but it could easily be 2-2. The other team have played fantastic, so that's against Real Madrid. So,
It's the team that beat Celtic, right? It's the team that beat Celtic, the Kazakhstani team.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but I mean, they're 2-0 up, Real Madrid, but one was a penalty, and they've come close to scoring a couple of times. The other team, so it can happen, but I don't think we lose tonight. And I'm not being disrespectful for them. I'm backing my team, and I think that we'll win.
Yeah, Harry. Obviously, last season, as much as we don't like to look back, we did win a trophy at the end of it, and this was because Ange decided to prioritise the Europa League. We haven't got that I know we've brought in some better players, but we've still got a relatively weak squad, in my opinion. We still haven't got massive strength in depth. Do you see Thomas Frank having to prioritise certain competitions? And if so, which ones?
We won't be allowed to, but ideally he would. But the problem is, Kate, that you're right. But we've had a good transfer window in terms of we've done some of it we haven't done in previous windows, in my opinion, and we've strengthened in at least 3 positions. I think Simmons, Paulinia, and Kudus, I think they're all upgrades on either what we had or in their positions. So I think that's quite impressive. But at the same time, I say it so many times, honestly, like a broken record, you could literally play this clip over and over again with me. Going into the season with 3 fit centre backs is suicidal. It's as simple as that. You know, if Tranmere Rovers went into their season with 3 fit centre backs and I didn't even follow them, I'd be extremely concerned for them, because the point here is you just don't do that in any kind of professional football. You know, we're looking at this going, we can only have 3 players, our natural centre backs, but we make do. You know, we play Gray there, we play Paulinia there, we put so and so there. It shouldn't be like that. That's a really poor way of looking at it, and that is, you know, why teams suffer, because they get lazy and go, we're all right, we'll prioritise other positions. Reality is, Kate, we didn't replace Son, and we let a lot of centre backs go, either sell them or mostly on loan, and done nothing to replace. I don't know any club that concedes as many goals as we did last season and ends up having less quality in the defence, as well as less numbers. Get your head around that. That's absolutely mad. Having said that, still a very good transfer window. Where I will personally disagree with you is I do like to look back on last season, because we did win a trophy and it's quite historic. I definitely think there were times where it was tough, but in the end, I think fans are quite negative. I'd give last season as close to as a 10 out of 10 as possible, because, you know, it's our first European trophy in an awfully long time. First trophy in my lifetime. It wasn't perfect. It was never going to be. We were given a wafer-thin squad. So I think Frank's done very well. I think he's definitely had the backing of the board. But as always with Tottenham, we've had a good window, a decent window. It's not world class. And that's the thing. You don't win the Premier League and Champions League if you have okay and decent windows. You need to have world class windows. So it's about changing that. Hopefully that'll come over time. And I think the new look of the club and, you know, all this going on, I think you'd hope it's a positive. I think Vinay's made a difference. But, you know, don't know that. It's only what we assume. But to answer your question, it's an interesting one.
Yeah,
But you've got to remember, can I just jump in there? You've got to remember, Harry, right, that we was in a kind of a transition period, right, because Ange won us the trophy. I think they knew they were going to sack him, but we never knew if he was going to stay or go, you know, until after a few weeks after the celebration. Frank's come in. He needs to assess his players, right? He can't walk in the door and just think, well, this player ain't good enough. This player ain't good enough. So he needs to assess his players. So I think the window we had was a decent window, considering it was a transition period. But the next windows going forward, we need to upgrade even more, right? But I think that it's a bit harsh to say we got a bad squad as well, Kate. It's not.
No, I didn't say we got a bad squad. Don't put words in my mouth, Jimbo. I said we've still not got the deepest squad.
Oh, that's what we want to see fight night.
We've got the basis, right? We've got the what's the word I'm looking for?
Foundation.
Yeah, we've got the foundation. Thank you, Harry. See, 16, he's got more brains than me. Right, we've got the foundation of a really good squad there, right? And there's just a few players we need to get out and a few we need to get in, or Frank needs to get more out of the players that we think need to go, which he might do. He done it at Brentford, so there's a good possibility he could do it here. So I think that we've got the foundation of a really good squad there. It's just over the next few windows, adding to it, getting out the crap that ain't going to work, and bringing in, you know, Premier League players that can go straight in the team and hit the ground running.
I hear you, but Ben, I'm going to try and talk to you. And Harry, this isn't a diss at you. This is a diss at Jim, because you're going to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying we've got a bad squad. I'm just saying we still haven't got a lot of squad depth. For instance, if Kudus goes out injured, we're screwed. If Paulinia goes out injured. I mean, do you think that Frank's going to have to sort of try and prioritise competitions, or
it's about prioritising the games you think you can win? I think we can beat Bodø without having 100% of our squad. It's not a disrespect of Bodø, but it's backing the players we do have. I will say it was absolutely criminal not buying a left winger in the summer. It was criminal. Ademola Lookman was there, and that was a player I really, really rate. Watching Atalanta, you don't score a hat trick in a final, and you're not. We should have bought a left winger. We have no excuses to have Odegaard, Tell as your 2 left wing options. That is a disgrace. I'm not going to rag on Tell because you can watch a million Spurs YouTube channels and everyone's going to be ragging on Tell. Let's face it, he's not good enough. There's a reason Bayern Munich got rid of him. He's not good enough. He's not good as a striker. Doesn't score enough goals. He's not good as a left winger. He's not good enough. He's not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I've seen players much better than Tell at this club for a lot less money. We should have bought, for the same price we bought in Matisse Tell, we could have bought Ademola Lookman, who would be our starting left winger. He's not homegrown. He's not homegrown, so he hasn't got that. We have to be if we've got players like Odegaard and we've got players. I'd rather have Mikey Moore. I'd rather have Mikey Moore in the team than Matisse Tell.
And listen to me, right? It could be that they tried to get a good left winger and they couldn't get him. They might have tried to get Lookman, right? We don't know that. So it's not like, I don't think that they were working in the background thinking, I don't want, we want him, we want there. They probably tried to get the right player. They're not. I would rather them do what they did, right, than just bring in another player that we're going to end up.
We all wanted Savinho in. He's a player we all wanted. Man City couldn't sell him on time because they didn't have the money to buy Rodrigo. If they had the money to buy Rodrigo, they would have sold Savinho and bought Rodrigo in. Transfer windows are dominant. It's the domino effect. But
how many times have we panic buyed and it's been a mistake? They never done that.
How many times have we panicked buy and it worked out? Kulusevski and Bentancur was a panic buy. It was a panic buy, and they are 2 of our best players when they're fit. So, with the amount you can say of panic buys that have worked, I can give you panic buys that have worked.
But he bought them in, and he knew them players. So was that a panic buy? He knew the players.
It was the last day of the window to shut the fans up. It was the last day of the window.
He knew the players and he knew what they could do.
Sure, but Tottenham Hotspur should have a better left winger than Matisse Tell.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're getting the next window or the window after that. I'm sure.
We've needed it. I love Son Heung-min. Son Heung-min's one of the best players I've ever had the pleasure of watching. But let's not talk about Son as he's the Son from 3-4 years ago that was scoring 25 goals a year. There's a reason he didn't start in that final. He wasn't getting the numbers. We would all agree that Sonny had to leave. As much as we all love him, he had to leave because he wasn't giving us the numbers. He wasn't giving us the numbers. Age is not on his side anymore. He's 32 years of age, but we should have bought a left winger. I've seen enough. I've seen enough of Matisse Tell to say Odegaard's a better player than you. Johnson's a better player than you. And when Brennan Johnson is a better player than you, out of position, that is a real problem. That is a real problem. If he goes out on loan and has a really good loan spell, maybe we will all change our mind. But at this moment in time, I've seen far more from Mikey Moore as a young kid coming through our academy than I have Matisse Tell. And Matisse Tell should be the one at Rangers, not Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore is the future of this football club. He should be playing left wing. If we're not playing a player, play Mikey Moore. Play Mikey Moore. He has got... in the early rounds of the Europa League, Mikey Moore was quality. Mikey Moore was quality. I don't see it. We could have saved 40 million quid. We could have saved 40 million pounds on that loan fee and buying him on the 10 million loan fee and the 30 million pound transfer fee. I
think with Chelsea, I think we need to let Frank work with him and let Frank decide that, because I don't think we've seen enough of him, and I don't think he's had enough of a run, right, to see how good he is. You know, I mean, they were raving about him at Bayern Munich. So I think
they couldn't get shot of him quick enough.
Well,
they weren't raving about him. They weren't raving about him. Come on, Jimbo. They weren't raving about him.
Let me finish, Ben. Let me finish. Right. I think the people are too harsh on some of these players. He's not had a run. He needs to have a run in the team and then see how he does then. I mean, he's shot of confidence, right? Just give him a few games, let him see what Frank can do with him. You know, I mean, he gets slaughtered everywhere, and I just think it's really unfair.
A lot of
And
it
then
with Tell, I think, is he is clearly so short of confidence.
you see some of the positions he gets in, Kate,
I know, I
and
agree.
he gets in some great positions in the box, and he's just not put it in the net. You know, he might
Yeah.
put 1 or 2 in the net, and then we'll see a difference in him.
Yeah, look, I for one, I'm not his biggest fan, but I'd love for him to prove me wrong because he's a young kid, and I think he needs a goal to lift his confidence up. So I trust Thomas Frank. He's got a good history of working with young players. So let's hope that he can improve. But obviously, he's not playing tonight anyway because it's a Champions League squad, and he wasn't included. But Harry, coming to you because you've been a little bit quiet because you haven't been able to get a word in.
I've been listening.
I know you've been taking it all in. I could see the brain.
I have.
It was all cogging over. Obviously, we've got Bergvall back in the team tonight. How pleased are you to see him back? I mean, I saw him at the press conference. He's really grown up. I don't want that to sound patronising, but he is growing up before our eyes, and he's taking on real responsibility in this team. And yeah, how pleased are you to see him in the lineup?
No, very good. I'm just going to very quickly say I think we need to be patient with all our players, and Lucas Bergvall's a player as well that luckily people didn't get his back on last year, but one of the few that didn't, and rightly so, because Bergvall's got a really bright future ahead of him. There's no doubt about that, and recently watched that documentary of his. It's really exciting, just to find out how he was slightly taller, slightly bigger, more physical, and just ahead of everybody else. It's refreshing to hear, and when like you get in a Swedish royal family, etc., speaking really highly of him, when he joins Tottenham and kind of saying this is the next gem, then it's serious. So this season we've seen something really impressive from him. I think he's been very good, and he's shown real versatility to play in a few different positions. So Bergvall I like, but I like this whole Tottenham squad. There's talent running within, and even if there isn't, there's players that haven't had much of an opportunity. I know fans like to slate players, but I prefer to focus on the players that are doing well and back the others to improve. They don't turn it around. That's what transfer windows are for. You've got January, you've got the summer, but I don't do the talking during games. And I believe, in my personal opinion, Kate, Spurs fans have ruined quite a few players' careers, but not only that, you look at someone like Tell, for me, he's struggling because of the fans not getting behind him, and when he has one bad game, dissing him straight away. I think we wait till the January window to jump to conclusions. Of course, he hasn't been perfect. There's no doubt about that. Should we have signed him? I can't answer that question right now, but what I will say is that we absolutely need to be patient. Someone like Bergvall as well, we've got to accept he's going to take dips. He's going to go up and down. That's all about development. He's not going to be at the races every single game, but a job of a fan is to support your club, and that includes supporting the players. So as far as I'm concerned, support every player on the pitch. Lucas Bergvall is one of them, and he's hitting the heights. It's great to see. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, I agree. I get told off all the time for gushing too much over Bergvall, but I really, really like this guy. But I do agree, bless him, in the press conference with Thomas Frank, he did look a little bit nervous. He's obviously quite shy, but yeah, I like him very much. And of course, Jimbo, my man, Spence is back in the squad. I think Udogi's done well, but for me, I think Spence is I just prefer him as a player. I know everyone's got their own opinion. I just like Spence better. But he's back tonight.
He's quite a good example because he struggled when he first came with the way he was treated, and he had a few bad games, and he's kicked in now, and they said his attitude was terrible. And look I think he's one of the nicest kids in the group. Everybody seems to like him. When I watch the training, he's always training with a smile on his face. And maybe Tell will end up like that. I know a lot of people haven't got confidence in Tell, but I just think we need to give players like that, like we did with Spence, time, right? Right, Mickey, time, and what's she put?
I panic bought and look what happened.
Yeah. Work mistake you haven't made 2 years ago.
And I just think that Spence for me he's one of the first names on the team sheet. You know what you're going to get with him. He's going to work his socks off. He's not only going to work his socks off, he's a good player. And you know what you're going to get. I'm just hoping that we can get that out, that Frank can get that out of Tell, and shut a lot of people up, because he takes, for me, miles too much stick. Yeah. Like Spence was. But a lot of people were saying get rid of Spence in the beginning. He's got a shit attitude.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly say something, if you don't mind? We've got Brennan Johnson, who got so much criticism, had to delete his social media. He was Tottenham's top scorer last season. You know, Richarlison, so much abuse, went through his own struggles away from that as well. Probably didn't help with that as well. He's Tottenham's current top scorer in the Premier League. And, you know, someone like Tal, I'm not going to say he's going to be our top scorer, but I think patience is needed. He's not the only player. And we've gone from, you know, booing Damson Sanchez off the pitch to doing very well since he's left Tottenham. And there are players at this football club, we're all in agreement that we personally think aren't good enough, shouldn't be in the team, should be sold, as there are players that we probably think, you know what, we're lucky to have them. That's the way that football works. But as far as I'm concerned, when a player wears your shirt, I can't even begin to understand why you wouldn't support them. And I had fans sitting behind me that were booing Tell when he's on the ball. I had to really keep it within me to not say anything, because that really angers me. What do people seem to be thinking here and that? You know, he's a professional footballer. He's clearly better than the people who are giving him stick. That's the thing that annoys me. You know, say what you like. If you could do better, you can't. You know, and it's interesting to know the discussion between Ben and Jimbo about Tell and whether Bayern wanted him or not. I was personally concerned with how quick Bayern did get rid of him. But at the same time, if you read when he first joined Bayern that first year, the things about him is really positive. So that one's really unclear to see, actually. But I we look at Tell and he hasn't shown enough. But at the same time, give him a few games, give him a few starts. You haven't seen a lot from Bodø either, but time is very key. I think it's easy. I don't know where, as well, Kate, people get this mentality that certain players aren't good enough for the club. You know, Brennan Johnson scored goals and won us games. You're not being funny. He won us the Europa League. He's a big part of that. Big reason why, it wasn't even worse than it could have been in the league. Not being funny. Those goals win you games. That's the thing. I'm not really worried about the performance. The result is the most important. The result, the performance is just a bonus from the result. But the lesson should be, however we feel about fans, there's going to be differences within the fan base. Back your own player when they wear the shirt. It's as simple as that. You can have thoughts on someone, but you should, support them. I could sit here and go, we should probably sell Richarlison. I deep down maybe think that it could be a valid case. I've gone backs and forwards with Richarlison, but I'm going to absolutely clap and applaud him. Whether he scores, when he touches the ball, whatever he does, when he wears that Spurs shirt, I love him. Whether I want him here or not, whether I think we should do better or not, that's the thing. I just can't get my head around anyone. And some things I've seen on social media, like with Vicario, the fact he should just be booted out and people are offering to pay his taxi. And that's not just a joke, by the way. People would genuinely do that. And it's very, very concerning. But the vast majority of Spurs fans, very sensible, have their own opinions. Some we agree with, some we don't. There's nothing wrong with that. But some just take it far too far. And unfortunately, there was some in the stadium at the weekend. And that's a big reason for me why you don't win the game. That hostility doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, look, I agree. But it is that time. It is that time where we want to know what you, the great British public, think that the score will be tonight and who you think will be scoring the goals. I've got a few already. I've got Dan saying 2-0 to Spurs. Anthony saying 5-0 to Spurs. Alex Crossley saying it won't be an easy game, but I do think we will win 2-0. 1-2 Richie and Saar. Interesting. 3-1 says Mike. 5-1 says Paul Jr. Ben, I'll come to you first. What do you fancy for this game?
I'm not going to say it's an easy game because I'm not going to disrespect Bodo. I think any team that is qualified to the Champions League has the ability to win a game of football. I think we will win 2-0. That's what I predicted earlier. I think we will have too much defensively for them. As you were saying, I think Spencer's a quality addition back into that. Is without Paulinho having players like Spence to come into the team and be defensively solid. If he puts another Bodo player in the penitentiary, always great to see. That penitentiary is getting very, very full now. He's had a very good season. I think 2-0 Spurs. I think we have enough with the likes of Lucas in the number 10. I love Lucas Bergvall. It's the difference. He is going to be absolutely sensational. He is going to be an unbelievable footballer in the future. And it's when he's got the world at like a ball at his feet. He's going to be top class. He's going to be top class. And it's, of course, Sweden to Norway. It's going to have that little bit of a rivalry. He's going to want to do well in Norway, and he's used to playing on an artificial pitch as well, because playing in Sweden, they also play on those artificial pitches. So I think 2-0 Spurs. I think it's not going to be easy, but I think we'll get the job done.
And who did you say would score?
I am going to say Bergvall, and I think we're going to get a goal from, I'm going to say Mickey van der Ven. I think we're going to score another corner. I think we'll get a corner and then we'll get something else. So those two.
I like it. I'm going to go for a 2-1, same as Sarah here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spurs win. I'm going to go Johnson again, ole, ole. And I am going to go for Pedro Porro with an absolute screamer, maybe even like he did against Bodo last time where he crossed the ball and it went in the back of the net. So, yeah, I'm going for Porro to repeat that feat. Danielle says Bergvall's only 19. A lot of good stuff to come from him, whether we keep him in the squad in a free. Harry, what do you fancy for tonight? The score and scorers, please.
Yeah, thank you. It's the all-important question. I'm going 3-1 Spurs. I completely agree with the way that Jimbo looks at it in terms of it's a game where we all think we're probably going to win, but you don't disrespect any opposition, you know. And I think Ben said it as well, you know, they're in the Champions League for a reason. At the same time, you have to look at this and go, it's a perfect opportunity for Tottenham to in the Champions League campaign. Yeah, really big start. We've got tougher games coming up. Dortmund, fine form at the moment. It got 7 or 8 unbeaten in all competitions. PSG, we know how tough that will be. So we need to be winning games like this. There, you look at it and go, the old Tottenham would have struggled here. So I do go 3-1 Tottenham. Goals, you know me, I like to be a little bit different, so I'm going to be different. I think 2 goals will be scored from set pieces. I think they'll both be scored by Danso. It just feels right when there's going to be a lot of kind of question about Romero. Are we going to struggle without? So I think Danso is going to I just see it as a real threat. And that's going to be really bold because if you think Danso's probably be taking the throw-ins, so that's a disadvantage to him not being able to be in the box. But I think from corners, you're not going to be doing anything there. So he should be in the box. I'm going 2 from Danso. And I think Kudus will come off the bench and the cherry on top and a nice win for Tottenham and what's been a flying start under Thomas Frank.
I like it. I like this one even more. 11-0, 2 red cards.
Let's go with that. Lovely.
Jimbo, what about yourself?
Yeah, I just saw Steve D's comment. I don't agree with that. I think that some of the kids need to be in the team and in the squad to learn from Frank and the other players.
How are they going to improve? How are we going to know they're ready if they're not given a chance? That's why I look at it. It's ludicrous.
It's always the same argument. It's an argument that always splits the fan base. And it's one that there's no right or wrong. It's just purely opinion. So
I think some need to go out and learn, which we've done. I think you need to keep some in the squad to learn from the other players and to learn from Frank how he wants them to play and to grow with the team. Look, we are an elite team. We're meant to be an elite team, but it's a new era, and we need to give a bit of time to some of the players and have a couple of windows as well to upgrade. But
so what's your score and scorers, Jimbo?
Sorry, I went off track.
You did. You went off on a tangent.
Well, I mean,
Jimbo and going off on a chat tangent. No.
I like to back him up with Harry. You know me. I mean, who was the German guy? I mean, I backed him all the way, and I got slaughtered for it. But he puts that shirt on. He wears that cockerel. As far as I'm concerned, he's got my backing.
Absolutely.
Right, I'm going to go for 3-0
to Bodo.
If I had the power, I'd pick you off.
And who's scoring, Jimbo?
You do, Jimbo. You just got to pull the internet plug. It's one of those ones.
Yeah, but then I will get divorced. I think Bergville, I'm going to have to get one.
Yeah.
Johnson and Sarr.
Excellent. Well, let's hope it don't matter what the score is. Let's just hope we win. That would be nice.
100% Johnson will score tonight.
I think Johnson ole will score as well. And yeah, you're right. The divorce papers are being signed as we speak. Jimbo.
He's put up with me for 24, 25 years. I'm sure this is not going to make
Jimbo. God bless Jimbo. And also, just this for Chris on the weakest link. If you know, you know.
Ben, what is
going on here?
Ben, what is going on over at the coffee company?
I believe we're on the show tomorrow. I'm going to the Cafe Culture Expo, so maybe there might be a stream tomorrow, maybe there won't be. But it's your usual coffee chat. We like to have fun. We like to We like to talk everything and anything. But, of course, make sure you jump over to Tottenham on Tour, the world-famous home of whatever those two navel fingers are saying. So we're moving forward. Monday and Friday, I stream with Brian and get a load of coffee shows from Tuesday to Thursday. It's always a good time to be around the coffee shop. And there are some new things coming to fruition very, very soon.
Ooh.
Let me ask Harry. Harry, do you know what the Winkies link is?
Go on.
Do you know what it is?
No. Yes, actually, no, I do. Tell you, yeah, watched that quite a while ago. Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
The game show, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Justice for Chris on the weakest link.
I was on
If
there.
Oh, you know.
I was on the
Hey,
second
yeah.
season.
Ah.
That's what it is.
Voted off the strongest
Oh,
link.
wow.
Yeah, I did vote off the strongest link, but you know what? I don't regret it. And that's me.
Nice.
I think she was an Arsenal fan, so that's why. But yes, do go over to the coffee company and sub to Ben. Harry, what's going on at your lovely channel?
Thank you, firstly, for having me. I always like coming on here. A pleasure to share the stage with you tonight. So thank you, and hopefully for a Tottenham win, most importantly. But you can follow me at HarryScarf22 across all social media, football content creator, YouTuber, football writer, advocate for autism. Yeah, I could go on and on. I don't want to bore you, but I have my own YouTube channel, Harry Scarf, which has all kind of Spurs content, England content, which includes Spurs women and England women content new to the channel, Premier League content, FPL content, so much daily at the moment, which also includes 2 Scarfy Spurs Talk podcasts every Monday and Thursday night, 8 p.m. live on YouTube. So appreciate the chat. It's been great tonight, even when there's some opinions that I don't agree with, others won't agree with. I like the conversation, the debate, and a lot of reasonable, level-headed people in there. So always good to come on. Thank you so much for having me. And also would like to say very proud to be a finalist 3 years in a row at the Football Content Awards and share that with Tottenham TV, who have made it again. So make sure you do vote for them as well. So thanks for having me.
Yes, do go over and vote for Harry. Also, We Are Tottenham TV have been finalists. Chris Cowling's a finalist. Last Word on Spurs is a finalist. Barnaby's a finalist. Please vote for any of the Tottenham channels that you like, because that's just what we should do. We're a community at the end of the day, and everyone should support each other. And of course, if you want to, you can come over to, well, it might not be Kate and Jimbo for much longer. It might just be Kate.
Oh, for God's sake, stop renaming your channel. It's really annoying. Every single day, your channel has a new name. I'm so fed up of it.
Just
Stop
going to be
changing the name of your channel. Just like Steve B's tree blocks his door, stop changing the name of your channel. It's really annoying. I can't ever find when you're streaming. It's silly now. It's silly.
At the minute, it's Kate and Jimbo. It might soon be the Kate and Kate and Cat channel, maybe. It depends if Jim starts behaving himself. But do feel free to come over and sub to us if you wish. But all that leaves me to say is stay where you are. You will be redirected to the watch along in about 13 minutes time. So you've got time to grab something to eat, something to drink before the game. Enjoy the match. Get behind the boys. Cheer those lads on. Jimbo and I will see you back here on the pre-match pump up on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock before the Leeds game. And all that's left to say is, come on, you bloody Spurs.
Oh,
Coming Spurs.